Okay, so that's Twistor theory. Why is that a step towards the theory of everything, or maybe finding some form of quantum gravity?
Well, so yeah, so Penrose, when he developed it, was very yeah. Penrose wasn't he came out of a tradition of studying general relativity, so he came up with these ideas by studying general relativity, and so and this Einstein's theory of general relativity is a geometrical theory, and so rethinking Einstein's theory in terms of twistors gives you, kind of a new way of thinking about Einstein's theory, and there are new things you can do. And this is what one thing that Penrose and his collaborators were really fascinated by. But what they found was that while there were some really interesting things you could say about general relativity and gravity and geometry this way, it didn't really kind of quite work. And one way of saying the problem that the basic problem is that Twistor theory is what physicists sometimes call a chiral theory. That it behaves differently if you mirror reflect things. If you do a mirror reflection, you get something different.
That's chirality.
So that's chirality, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we talk about it in terms of things being right and left-handed. That your right hand, if you look at your right hand in a mirror, it looks like a left hand. And so there's kind of two. They're two two different things.
Yeah.
And so the Twistor theory is very much a chiral theory. That the theory of spinors, the way you normally do it, you say that you have two kinds of spinors. And these two kinds, because of the way they behave under rotations, are sometimes called right and left-handed spinors, or positive chirality and negative chirality spinors. And what Twistor theory is telling you is that a point is a spinor, but it's telling you a point is a right-handed spinor, or you have to make a convention, right or left-handed. Sure. But a point is one-handedness of spinor. It is not. And the other handedness of spinors are something different. And so as a theory of geometry, it's very much a chiral theory. It really treats right and left differently. And the problem with general relativity, at least in its normal formulation, is that general relativity is not a chiral theory. General relativity is parity symmetric theory. So what Penrose and I think and the people working with them, I ended up finding out was that you could do beautiful stuff with the Twistor theory, but it only gave you it only gave you part of general relativity. It just gave you part of it, and because it just gave you in some sense the right-handed part, not the left-handed part. Or if you wanted the left-handed part, you had to, and you had to get it separately. But the two are different things. And Penrose actually, I think, called this the googly problem. The googly problem, yeah. So
cricket.
From cricket. So it's something. But I think one thing that I think Penrose realized and had fascinated people in the subject a long time was that while gravity is a parity symmetric theory, it's non-chiral. The standard model is a chiral theory. So especially the part that describes weak interactions. The weak interactions, the left-handed spinors and the right-handed spinors behave quite completely differently. They experience different forces and they behave differently. So so there's always in the back of people's minds an idea, can we use this to could we somehow use Twistor theory to explain this stuff about the weak interactions, about the thing that actually is chiral. So but there never really was I think a really plausible idea about that, because the problem was that Twistor theory was really kind of a theory of space-time geometry, and our understanding of weak interactions is that the weak interactions are something that don't have to do with space-time geometry. They're kind of so-called internal degrees of freedom, which don't have anything. You do rotations or translations, nothing happens to them. So the ideas that I've been playing with in recent years are a way of putting these things together. Anyway, at least conjecturally. I mean, I should say, make it very clear. I'm very far from having a an understood and completely written down theory, which I can sell. But I do. I've been playing with some different ways of thinking about twistor and spinor geometry, in which and I've been recently kind of using the slogan of saying that space-time is right-handed,
Yep.
and saying that, yes, that you really can completely describe all the space-time degrees of freedom in terms of the right-handed spinors. And then the other parity of things, the left-handed spinors, don't actually, which in the standard way of talking about twistor theory and gravity, you have to use both to talk about space and time. I think there's a way to just use the right-handed ones to talk about space and time, and then to use the left-handed ones to talk about the weak interactions, and to try to bring the things together. But this requires kind of rethinking kind of the whole subject at its basics, and that's kind of the project I'm in the middle of. And so to me, this all looks very promising. I'm very excited about this, but I should say I haven't had that much luck in getting other people equally excited so far. We'll see.
Well, that changes after this episode.
Oh yeah. Well, this was everybody. Yeah.